What's up, y'all? Roy here, and you are listening to the Clemens with a Z podcast. Now, look, I don't know how to say this or how else to say this, but I've become that guy, the one who cries at talent shows, like full body sobs over golden buzzer clips from America's Got Talent on YouTube at like 1 a.m. If I'm in a bad mood, I'm stressed, tired, feeling lost, frustrated with humanity, or just generally over it all. Nowadays, I don't seem to reach for a Bible verse as much, or a deep breathing app, or even a pint of ice cream or something. I reach for Simon Cowell getting emotionally wrecked by a 14-year-old girl who sings like she's got a choir of angels living in her lungs. That's where I go. That's church. And it's not like I planned this. I don't sit down with popcorn and go, you know what I need tonight? A ventriloquist with social anxiety who heals her inner child with puppets. But somehow the algorithm knows, YouTube knows, God knows. And I end up crying on the couch with my laptop propped up or my cell phone like it's a fucking confessional booth. And at this point, I've stopped fighting it because these clips, they crack me open every time. The story, the surprise, the moment they realize someone finally sees them. And the music swells, the judges stand up, the crowd erupts, and boom, confetti from heaven. I'm wrecked. But I think I'm onto something in that. Because I think that maybe it's not just about the show. Maybe it's about what it unlocks in us and in me. So this episode, yes, is about America's Got Talent, AGT. And it's also not about AGT. It's about what happens when joy catches you off guard, when someone else's breakthrough brushes up against your own buried grief. It's about golden buzzers, late night tears, and the weird sacredness of crying at a talent show when nothing else in your life makes sense. So let's get into it. I don't really even know when it started. Honestly, between long days, hard conversations, heartbreak, confusion, just life, work, I found myself reaching for something that made me feel something again. And weirdly, that something was AGT. It became this kind of quiet ritual, not a big dramatic thing, just a little window I opened when I needed to breathe. When I was too tired to talk, too numb to pray, too overwhelmed to process, I'd watch one audition after another. And somewhere along the third clip, I'd feel it, that familiar lump in my throat. That moment when the judges start to tear up, when the crowd's on its feet, when you know the golden buzzer is coming before the judge even stands up. And right there, somewhere between the piano keys and the confetti, I'd break. Not in a bad way, not like I was falling apart, more like I was releasing something I didn't even know I was holding. It's like tears I didn't know I needed to cry, hope I didn't know I still had, joy I didn't realize I'd forgotten how to feel. Because it's not just about talent, it's about timing. That moment when someone steps into the light, that split second when they go from being just another face in the crowd to someone worth celebrating, someone worth seeing, someone whose story gets heard, maybe for the first time ever. And I don't know about you, but that does something to me. It's like watching the world pause just long enough to say, you matter. And in that pause, I feel like maybe I do too. And I'm not watching AGT to pretend the world isn't broken. I know it is. I know how cruel it can be. I've lived it, hurt by it. I've seen what it does to people's dreams, to their confidence, and to their spirit. So when I'm watching an AGT clip, a golden buzzer clip, it's not really about escaping. It's not about being naive. I think it's about anchoring to something, anything that can remind me that the story isn't over yet, that once in a while, something good breaks through the static. Once in a while, someone gets the win they deserve. And those moments, they're kind of sacred to me because I feel the emotional release. But there's also something deeper happen, something psychological, something spiritual. It's like my soul is saying, I know the darkness is real, but I also want to believe that light still gets through. And these clips are proof. They're oxygen. They're evidence that maybe the worst thing isn't the only thing. And there's kind of a rebellion in that, isn't there? Because joy is defiant. Hope is defiant. Believing that beauty can still happen in a world this damaged, that's spiritual resistance. Richard Rohr said it best. He says the best criticism of the bad is just the practice of the better. And I think that's what's happening here. These clips, these moments of eruption and celebration and unexpected validation, they are the better. They don't erase the pain, but they push back on it. They offer an alternative story. And that's what my soul clings to. Because we live in a culture that's fast, cynical, ironic, loud, and often cruel. A culture where it's easier to mock someone's vulnerability than to honor it. Where we scroll past beauty because it takes too long to feel something. So when someone dares to be raw, dares to dream, dares to shake, to sing, to cry, then gets lifted instead of laughed at, that matters. That means something. It reminds me of who I want to be. It reminds me that somewhere deep down I still believe in good things, and that I haven't gone numb, and that I'm still capable of awe, and that maybe there's just a little bit more space left inside me that refuses to give up. So, no, a talent show doesn't fix the world, but in a strange way, doesn't it kind of help fix something in me? And sometimes that's kind of the only place I have the power to start. And the wild thing that I'm thinking about this is that, like, that golden buzzer moment, it's basically a sermon. Yeah, I'm serious about that. I think it's one of the most powerful liturgies on mainstream television. Just think about it for a second. Someone walks on stage carrying their whole life in their voice, their movement, their story. They're trembling, and you could feel the weight of it, what they've been through, their trauma, rejection, grief, fear. And then something happens. They sing, they perform, they open up, and you watch the entire room shift. You can see the judges lean forward. You can see the crowd start to stand. You can feel the presence of something holy. I said it, holy. And then the music swells, and a judge who maybe hasn't said a word yet stands up and slams that golden buzzer. And suddenly the whole stage is lit up. Confetti rains from the ceiling like heaven cracked open, and the performer falls to their knees or looks up in shock or just weep. And tell me that's not a spiritual experience. Tell me that's not what most of us are longing for, to be seen, to be affirmed, to be told, you belong here, you're not invisible, and you matter. That's what the golden buzzer is. It's not just a ticket to the next round, it's an anointing, it's a public blessing. It's what so many of us were hoping church would be, or family would be, or life would be, and often wasn't. It reminds me of that Rob Bell idea that the sacred isn't confined to temples or pulpits, that any moment where love breaks through is holy ground. And if that's true, then the golden buzzer isn't just a gimmick, it's a metaphor. It's a stand in for the moment we all secretly hope is coming. The moment someone sees the real us and doesn't look away. The moment we hear you're enough. The moment the crowd rises, not because you were perfect, but because you were honest, because you showed up. And yeah, I know it's a talent show. I know it's produced and edited and marketed to make us cry. But the emotions it stirs up, those are real. And for me, that's enough to call it sacred. And it's easy to look at a show like AGT and think, okay, this is just a fun distraction, a few feel good moments, some viral clips. Honestly, I think it's something more. It's something deeper. Because in a world that's constantly telling us to be afraid, to be numb, to be cynical, joy is radical and joy is resistance. We're surrounded by algorithms that profit off our fear. We live in systems that reward burnout, perfectionism, and emotional detachment. We're taught to toughen up, scroll past suffering, and suppress the very things that make us human. So when someone gets on stage with nothing but their story and their spirit, and the crowd doesn't laugh, doesn't mock, doesn't look away, but rises with them, that's a rebellion. It's a rejection of an idea that only the polished or the privileged deserve to shine. It's a protest against the lie that vulnerability is weakness. It's a moment of collective awe in a world that's starving for wonder. And when we cry, when we let the tears fall watching someone get lifted, we're saying, I still feel, I still care, and I'm not done hoping yet. That is sacred. That is defiance against despair. And honestly, I think that matters now more than ever. Because it's so tempting to give up on beauty, to believe it doesn't exist anymore, to get lost in the noise and the grief and the headlines. But these moments, these flashes of joy, these unexpected explosions of light, they keep us tethered. They keep us from floating too far into cynicism. They say, don't give up yet. The world might still surprise you. Keep watching, keep hoping, keep showing up. And I need that reminder. And I'm pretty sure you do too. Because when everything feels like it's falling apart, sometimes the most rebellious thing you can do is to feel joy anyway. So maybe you're like me. Maybe you found yourself crying at a talent show audition and thought, what is wrong with me? But the truth is, nothing's wrong. Everything's just working the way it was supposed to. Maybe your tears are proof that your heart still works, that your soul hasn't gone quiet. Because this show, this moment of confetti and chaos and unexpected celebration, it connects with millions of people. And that says something. It says we're all looking for one sliver of realness in a world that often feels so fake and plastic. We're all looking for awe, for goodness, for justice that feels right. And we're not alone in that. Why do these videos go viral? Why do strangers across the globe cry over someone they'll never meet? Because we recognize something and we recognize ourselves. We see our own longing in their trembling voice, our own hope in their story, our own ache to be seen, to be chosen, to be told, you're enough right now as you are. And deep down, I think we're all just walking around waiting for our golden buzzer moment, waiting for someone to hit the button to stand up and say, you've got something, I see it, and it's beautiful. Maybe it's not a judge on a stage who'll do that for you. Maybe it's a friend, a teacher, a partner, a stranger. Maybe it's you just doing it for yourself. But either way, that desire, that pull, it's not weakness. It's not emotional fragility. It's what makes you human. It means you haven't shut down yet. It means you still believe something good can come out of all of this. And if that's not worth celebrating, then I don't know what is. There's another thing that I've noticed, something that almost sneaks up on you if you're not paying attention. There's no type of person who gets the golden buzzer. It's not just young people with record deals waiting. It's not just seasoned professionals finally getting their break. It's kids, it's seniors, it's construction workers, it's single moms, it's immigrants, survivors, former addicts, students, farmers, widows, widowers, veterans. It's people who've never stood on a stage in their life and people who've been rejected on every stage they ever touched. And it's every color, every culture, every creed, every accent, every body type, every history. And somehow every one of them fits. It's so wild. Because the golden buzzer isn't about finding the best. It's about recognizing something true, something beautiful, and something human. And I think that's why it feels so holy to me, because it looks like what the world could be if we actually paid attention to each other's hearts, saw their humanity. It's not a competition of credentials. It's just a celebration of courage. It's not about someone who checked all the right boxes. It's about someone who showed up fully, honestly, and unapologetically. And in that way, it's not really a stage. It's kind of a communion, right? It's like a confetti-shaped Eucharist. Out of that one. A table where people who never thought they belonged get pulled into the center and the crowd rises to say, "You're not too late. You're not too much, and you're not forgotten." Man, that kind of moment, right? It doesn't just belong to a show. It belongs to all of us. To me, that's what the golden buzzer really is. Not just a moment or a story, but a reminder. A reminder that even in a noisy, divided, cynical world, there's still space for this. Awe, for hope, for joy, and maybe more than anything, for you. So if you've ever cried at a talent show audition, don't apologize. If you've ever felt something stir in your chest when the music swells and the confetti falls, don't dismiss it. If you've ever found yourself hoping for something or someone you'll never meet, feeling joy erupt in your body like a song you forgot you knew, let that mean something. Let it remind you you're still here, still open, still alive, still wired for wonder. Because this isn't just about the performers on stage, it's about all of us, remember. It's about remembering that even in a world where pain is loud and injustice is everywhere, there are still these moments, beautiful, fragile, sacred moments where that good can still break through. And if you've been holding back the tears, let them fall. If you've been afraid to hope again, start small and try again. If you've been taught to keep your joy quiet, turn up that fucking volume. Because the world doesn't need more numbness. It needs more people who are still willing to feel. Because that's where healing begins. Not in fixing everything, but refusing to shut down. So let me just leave you with this. Feel, hope, cry without shame, and believe if even for a moment the confetti still can fall. Sometimes it can fall for people just like you. So thanks for sitting me with this one, for listening. I appreciate all y'all. If this episode stirred something in you, if you felt seen, cracked open, or just found yourself crying over confetti and courage, I would love to hear from you. You can reach out to me at Instagram at the Clemens with a Z podcast page, or you can shoot me an email at clemenswithaz@gmail.com. You can find more of my reflections, essays, and devotional over at my Substack, devotionals for the deconstructing and the disillusioned. And that's where I dive deeper into all this stuff that we talk about here: faith, healing, joy, doubt, hope, and all that messy middle. And if you believe in what I'm doing here, the community, these conversations, there are a few ways you can support. Subscribe wherever you're listening so you never miss an episode. Share this with a friend, especially someone who maybe needed a golden buzzer moment of their own this week. Feel like leaving a review? That'd be rad too. It's like hitting a golden buzzer for the show. Seriously, it helps more than you know. And if you'd like to support it financially, you can go to the show notes and click on the GoFundMe link and donate there, or you can head over to clemenswithaz.com to the merch store, grab a hat, a sticker, whatever. Every little bit helps, and I'm grateful for it. And finally, wherever you are, whatever season you're in, I hope you'll give yourself permission this week to feel, to hope, to love, to cry without shame, because the world may be loud, but your tenderness is not weakness. It's evidence you're still alive, and that's worth celebrating. So see you next time. Peace.